Emotions running free. Emotions emotions running free. Emotions run. Some mind don't understand. Emotions running.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is the fourth episode, and I hope you're enjoying these episodes, very short ones. And yeah, on this fourth episode, I'll be sharing with you 9 phrases that makes you sound less confident, less confident. So, and after the video, you'll get to know and what to say instead, rather than showing that you're less confident itself. Number 1, here it is. I'm sorry, but apologizing, it's an unnecessary weakens your presence. And if you say sorry at the right time, it is great. Don't get me wrong. I know some of you say, "Oh, you're teaching us not to say sorry." No. I mean, a lot of us, when we say sorry, it's always in the wrong time. Maybe it's not your fault, and why do you need to say sorry? And that shows weakening. So what you should say instead is, you should say, "Here's my perspective," and then you let them know how you feel. Or you can say, "I believe," and then you let them know what you're thinking. That's it. So remember, number 2, I'm not sure, but this shows indecision. It means that you're not clear of things and you're not sure of things. I mean, it is okay if you're really not sure, but I always do this in my life. When I'm not sure of things, I'll always say, I'll get back to you on that. Why? Because you can always search things up in Google, in ChatGPT. I mean, it's the easiest thing now in 2024. If you're not sure of things, yeah, don't just say, "I'm not sure." It weakens your confidence and the shows of your presence in front of other people. So what you should say instead is, "Based on what I know." I mean, it's clear. When you say "based on what I know," there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's based on what you know. Here's my view on it. It's like an opinion. And when people's opinion, it's never wrong because it's their opinion. Everyone has the right to have their opinion. Number 3, I might be wrong, but have you said this before? I know I have. This minimizes your expertise. It means that, it really shows to other people you're not an expert at it, or maybe not an expert, but you're in that field, but I might be wrong. It means that before you say something, you already doubt yourself that you might be wrong. It shows less confidence in you and in front of people. So what you can say instead is, "Here's what I think based on what I've seen." So based on my experience, based on last time that I did it, based on last year. You can say these kind of things, and people would eventually see that you have an information, or you eventually see you have that sort of intelligence, and you have. I mean, it's great if you can keep the conversation rolling at the same time, and it's one of the things that you can say to make you less confident. Number 4, ready? Sorry to bother you, but you have the right to ask for help or guidance. A lot of people say this, and it gives you less confidence. And I know I do it, and I know I'm sharing this, but I do most of these things myself, and it is not easy to change. I do say this quite a lot. Sorry to bother you, and sorry to I sometimes I always butt into the conversation, or sometimes I always strike up a conversation at someone and say, "Sorry to bother you, but," and then I have communication through there and have the conversation through there. Yet it lessen your presence of confidence. So what you can say instead is, "I have a question about. I'd appreciate your thoughts on." If you just recall back what people have said, it's great. It shows confidence in you. It shows that you want to actually contribute in the conversation. Number 5, I'm still learning. Yeah, this can limit your credibility. Yes, even though I know some of you really listening to this, you probably say credibility. Is okay if people see me less credible. But at the same time, you don't want that, right? And if you keep on saying this all the time, "I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still learning," people might see you as someone who are beginner. You're someone who, I mean, if you are I always say, if you're a beginner and if you're new, you can be. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't show this to many people. You can't tell this every time you meet someone. So what you can say instead of, "I'm always looking for ways to improve," Or you can say, I'm continuously developing my skills. That way they know you're actually doing something about the things that, the things that you're learning, and you're showing to someone that, I'm making effort for me to learn every single day. Number 6, I'm not the expert on this. This one, you're probably saying, yeah, but if I'm not the expert on it, I can't lie. Yeah, you're right. But this makes you sound unsure of your abilities. So what you can say is, here's what I know based on my experience. I mentioned this before. It's almost the same thing as the one previous one. Well, if you don't know it, if you're not sure of it, and you don't say that I'm not an expert on it. Well, you can just say it's based on my experience. Last time someone told me, you can say that. You can say, I've heard someone said, you can say that. And it's an easier approach, and your confidence or your credibility is still there. Number 7, I'll be honest. I know a lot of people have said this before. When someone says, I'll be honest, when the people listening to you, they're probably thinking, oh, what kind of person who is honest? They will say, I'll be honest. People will say, if you're telling me that you'll be honest, that means most of the time you're not. This can imply that you're not always honest. You see, it's one of those reverse psychology things. So stop saying I'll be honest. It means that most of the times you're not honest. What you can say instead is, let me share my thoughts, or here's what I think. It's one of the ways that you can actually tackle it and make sure you still have that confidence when talking to people. Number 8, I don't have time for that. Yeah, even though if you don't have time for it, and yet if you say this, it brings out just a dead end in the conversation. So this can seem, dismissive and unengaged. It means when you're in that conversation and you just stop, it's always a full stop. I don't have time for that, and people will actually just stop having conversation with you. Why? They feel not comfortable talking to you about it because you've already made a full stop. So what you can say instead, you can say, let me evaluate my priorities and get back to you. You can also say this in that line of conversation. That way, no one needs to know that you don't have no time, but you can tell them that I'll get back to you on that one. But you do make sure you get back on them. Number 9, last one. I can't do that. This cuts off the conversation very quickly. It's the same thing. This cuts off the options too quickly. And in a conversation, it won't keep the ball rolling. And that way, when you say, I can't do that, it just stops. People will say, okay, he's not the man for it. He's not the guy for it. I can't ask him. He's got nothing for me. It just shows along the line like that. What you can say instead is, I'll figure out an alternative. That way, they know that you put an effort to search for the solution. Let's see what we can do. That's another thing that you can also say, and put everyone involved, and make it like a teamwork thing, make it like a brainstorming thing. There you go, guys. So 9 things that you should not say because it makes you sound less confident. I know confident is one of those keys that everyone needs, and in fact, if you're not confident enough at your work, at your job, or your relationship, or your friendship, or whatever that you do in life, it's going to be very tough. So just make sure that confident is the key for you to start everything in life. And how to be confident? Well, you can start off by not saying these 9 things. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Peace out.